Welcome back, closers, to the Siro Sales Academy, powered by Grosso University. Again, Dominic Caminata here with Jan in the studio. And in this course, we're going to be discussing step 11 of our process, which is the button-up and how we can leverage the power of Siro to maximize this critical step in the sales process. Now, the big thing that I teach and preach, and I know you do the same, is closing the sale is not the finish line.
Right.
Closing the sale is not punching in for the score. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, I've written several deals in my career where I thought we were good to go, and then I got a call the next day that said, sorry, we thought about it, and we decided this is out of our budget, we're going to cancel.
So absolutely. Obviously, how much money do you make on a cancellation?
Zero. Actually, less than zero.
Yeah, less than zero, right?
And
it's devastating. It takes the wind out of your sales. It crushes the sales rep's momentum. So the last thing we want is writing up all this business and then having all these deals drop off. So one of the most important things I need to do once I have the agreement signed, once all the paperwork is filled out, is do a masterful button-up. And one little visual we like to describe here is you need to tie up any and all loose ends. So what are some loose ends that could occur that would cause a deal to cancel? I guess, why do people cancel?
well, they have buyer's remorse. They got all excited to purchase this. You did a masterful presentation, and they were hyped emotionally. But then you leave, 3-4 hours goes by, and they start looking at each other like, did we just spend $40,000 on windows?
Yeah. After I close the sale, I need to make sure that I'm covering up all my bases, tying up any loose ends so the fish doesn't wiggle off the line. And this is why I share all the time that punching it in for the touchdown is not closing the sale. Truly punching it in for the touchdown and winning the game is when you do a masterful button-up. And there's a couple of things that we need to key to in doing a masterful button-up. Of course, one obvious thing is making sure that the customer has clarity on what they're doing, the scope of the work, and all the paperwork is clean and organized, right?
Yep.
Now, I'm sure we can agree, we see sales organizations over the country. Sometimes salespeople are writing things on paper. They don't have the greatest penmanship. They skip things. Have you ever been guilty of that, Dan, where you forgot to fill something in on an agreement?
No, I'm perfect, but I know a lot of guys who have had that problem.
Yeah. After closing a sale occasionally, I would go through the scope of work with the homeowner line by line, and then we would discover together like, oh, shoot, I missed something. You need to make sure you're very clear and detailed, whether it's on a digital platform or whether you do it on actual physical paperwork. Now, occasionally, even when I sold windows, I actually get up and go on a walk around with the homeowner to each window that we're doing. And I would go through the scope of work. Okay, we at the kitchen window, we're doing a double hung wood grain interior, white exterior, half screens, grids in the top sash only, anything I'm missing here. And you get them to kind of walk through and live the whole project, and it builds a lot of emotion, a lot of excitement. Be comprehensive, be thorough, because if the homeowner wakes up the next morning and they have any uncertainty about what they got, that can cause a deal to cancel.
No doubt. Hey closers, it's Dan Coomes-Barry from Grosso University. I'm the sales trainer who runs our monthly Sales Academy Masterclass, where we walk you through our 11-step process for in-home sales in the home improvement industry. This process is perfect for salespeople of any level of experience, whether you're green coming right into the field or you've been doing this for 30 years. We promise you that you're going to learn something that you can take out that day and help you close business. From my personal experience, I know that many homeowners that you talk to are looking to work with a credible expert who is knowledgeable, but they don't like being sold. The beautiful part about this process is it can be tailored for any personality type, any problem you may run into, and we're going to go through this in such a detail-oriented manner that you'll be prepared for any situation. From walking up and knocking on the door all the way through buttoning up the deal, we will teach you the nuanced art form that is one-call closing. This is a skill set that helped me make multiple six-figure income for years and years, and now, because I get to sit on this side of the camera, I get to pass that skill set along to you. I hope you're up to the task, because I'll tell you, this is a 145-page book that we train over a 2-week span. It is coupled with our 11-part video series that's broken down so it's easy to digest. No matter what type of learner you are, we accommodate you. Now, at the end of our 2-week training process, you will have to pass a final exam, and it's not easy. You'll have to score at least an 85% on this final exam in order to become a certified sales warrior through the Grosso University program. And that's where the hard work begins. But if you're up to the task and you want to make life-changing money and cultivate a skill set that will permeate into all areas of your life, I invite you to join me in the Sales Academy Masterclass. We have classes that start on the second Monday of every month, and I look forward to seeing you in class. And as always here at Grosso University, yes, you are a closer.
Because it could be something even really simple, Dan, like they don't know if they got half or full screen.
Yep.
And then they try to call you to get their question answered. They can't get a hold of you because you're running leads. They try to call the person at the office and they can't answer their questions. All of a sudden they're like, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable here. I feel like nobody really knows what's going on. Then I'm just going to stop this and cancel it until we get more clarity on what's going on.
Yep.
So be comprehensive. Make sure you have a nice organized way for the homeowner to access their paperwork. Even if you have a digital platform, I'm a really big fan of still having a leave behind.
Oh, yeah.
So even if you have all the actual legal stuff in a digital format, you should still have a nice leave behind packet that has a professional brochure, maybe a way to contact you or the office, having a brochure in a folder rather, and then having a section where we used to make these cheat sheets where it had the crucial leaders of each department that they could contact if they had any questions, with a picture of their face that means to contact them. So it gave that homeowner that peace of mind that no matter what the circumstances are, they're always going to be able to get a hold of someone. And of course, having a little section there, maybe you have a QR code they can scan to put a Google review, which is a really powerful thing to do at the end of any sales encounter. Then we have this thing where we explain the notice of cancellation. A lot of salespeople are guilty of what's called closing on rescission. So Dan, why don't we go ahead and lock in these discounts so you can save the money now? And if for any reason over the next 72 hours you're not comfortable, you have 72 hours to cancel this agreement. So it gives you time to shop around, look at some other options. And again, you can make sure you lock in the best price I can give you. That's not selling. And only 110% of those deals are going to cancel. You're wasting everybody's time.
So you're saying I don't have to give you any commitment whatsoever and put no skin in the game, but I can still take advantage of that discount? Just sign me up, man.
The notice of cancellation is obviously a document or it's a section in your digital agreement that explains to that homeowner that they have 72 hours or 3 business days by law in which they can cancel the agreement. And when you explain this properly, we educate them on what that right is that they have. We explain what the guidelines are, when they could cancel, but then we actually use it as a means not to cancel.
So I've built a lot of trust and rapport with my client at this point in time. They're trusting me with their project. So I'm going to give them a peek behind the curtain. I'll be like, guys, you're not in the same industry I am, but salespeople we get rated and measured on a lot of different metrics. The thing I love about this company is that we get graded really heavily when it comes to cancellation. And the reason for this is really simple. I think they had a bad experience with a high pressure sales rep at one point in time. But just imagine you own the company. If you had a representative of your company out in the field and that person was writing up agreements with homeowners on projects they were going to do, and those homeowners were then calling you the next day and canceling all the time, what would you think that sales rep is doing to get them to sign the paperwork in the first place?
Pressuring them, yeah.
Right. So if they're building a great deal of pressure, the age of the internet, you pressure the wrong person, what are they going to do?
They're going to spread all kinds of negative word of mouth about your company and your reputation.
Right. They're going to go online and eviscerate you. So as much as I want to earn your business on this project, and as honored as I am that you guys trust us to do this, I would never put my job on the line just for one order. And the reason I'm putting my job on the line is because we are only allowed to have 2 cancellations per quarter, or we get put on a probationary plan. We could actually lose our job. So I'm going to ask you guys a question that you'll probably never hear from another salesperson in your life. Are you completely sure that you want to do this?
Right. By explaining this and educating them and knowing that they have this right, being crystal clear on what it is, but letting them know we'd rather not do this business at all if they felt uncomfortable with this or felt they're going to cancel. Because again, the most important thing is their comfort, their peace of mind. They made a good investment. Of course, we're not going to risk losing our job over one order. We'd rather tear this up and hold off on it if you felt at all that you're going to wake up tomorrow and feel absolutely terrible and have regret about your decision, right? And then, of course, after you ask that question of, you sure you want to do this? Usually they'll start saying, oh, yeah, Dan, we really love everything. We wouldn't be doing this if we were going to cancel. Yeah, I appreciate that. And I just got 3 things I just want to confirm. Are you completely comfortable with Grosso University still being the contractor to come here and do a world-class installation for you? They're like, oh, yeah, we love the company. Okay, I appreciate that. and you still feel that the product I demonstrated for you is definitely the product you want in your home to solve your problems, yes, we love the product. Again, you're reselling it again. You gave it a 10 out of 10, right? And last and most importantly, are you completely comfortable with the total monthly investment we're making here this evening? So you have the elephant in the room, right? Are you completely comfortable with the total monthly investment we're making here this evening? And when they agree to that, so John and Mary, I have your word, you're not going to cancel. And then you get a handshake. That means the world to me. I really appreciate your business. I want to welcome you to the Grosso University. You're going to love your new windows. And blah, blah, blah. Obviously, then I can do a cool down phase. But the whole point is it's really easy for them to cancel on your company. They don't care. For them to call tomorrow and cancel on your company, they could care less. But one person they don't want to let down is you. So if I can make this a powerful, emotional, and personal situation, they're more likely to call you and address what hesitations and concerns they have if you truly make this personal, make it meaningful, make it matter. Now, of course, I want at some point after making some small talk, doing a cool down with them, I want the homeowner to sell the whole job back to me.
Well, that's actually, based on my sales style, I would actually lead right off of their commitment on the right of rescission.
Yep.
When they say, yeah, we're not canceling that. Obviously, we wouldn't be doing this if we weren't comfortable. I lead right into this portion where I just go, well, guys, I got the feeling that there's no way I could compel you to do something you didn't want to do. You don't seem like those type of people. Now, I know for a fact we are not the only game in town. You could have bought this from anybody.
Yep.
Why'd you feel so comfortable moving forward with us this afternoon?
Yep, and get them to sell back. And usually the first thing they talk about is you.
Well, every time.
Yep. So, well, you just did such a great job, Dan. We appreciate the information, and you were just really professional. You really did a great job. And, of course, I want to get them to sell back more than just me, even though you're the most important thing. And anything you recall about the company that surprised you or stood out to you that you really appreciated, and then get them to sell back the company. And in terms of the product itself, of course, when we went through the little elements of our presentation here, what really stood out to you about the product that you really loved? And then they'll talk about the heat lamp demonstration or the fact that it's maintenance free, easy to care for, easy to clean, all that stuff.
What are you most excited about?
Yeah, that's a great question.
That's my favorite. Well, you guys know what you're getting now.
Yep.
The waiting's the hardest part, right? But what are you guys most excited about?
Yeah, because again, you continue to pour fuel on that positive movie in their mind and building up the emotion and excitement. When I'm doing the sell the job back segment, the last thing I like to end on is, John and Mary, obviously I've been here for a while now, and I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for your business. We're going to do a fantastic job here for you. But I like asking all of my customers, now that you have the information, do you feel that the value of the investment you're making far exceeds the total investment to own?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if you've done your job, they should be getting what type of answer?
Oh, hell yeah.
And they're like, yeah, why do you ask? Or yes, absolutely. I'm really happy you said that. That really means the world to me because I like to ask my customers, let's say I had walked in here 3 hours ago or whatever it is, and I said, hello, John and Mary. My name's Dominic with Grosso University. That'll be $30,000. I just put the price right in your face before you had any information as to who we are, what we offer. As you go about the days, weeks, and months ahead, inevitably, you're going to be having conversations with your friends, your family, your neighbor, your coworkers. And you're going to be talking about this exciting project. You just told me what you're excited about, right? Having this transformation, making your life a lot more enjoyable each and every day, whether it be a shower or a bath system that you invested in or a new kitchen. If you talk to your friends, family, neighbors, coworkers, what do you think the first question that every nosy neighbor relative wants to know is?
How much?
How much? In a similar fashion, just as if I were to walk in here, put that price in your face, what do you think their reaction is going to be when you tell them only the total investment to get this job done? So I have a favor I like asking all of my customers. If you have anyone that wants information on who we are, the products and services we offer, and certainly our prices, feel free to give them my name, my number. We'll give you a referral incentive, a little referral bonus for giving us that positive word of mouth. And it's a no obligation in-home estimate. I will treat them like absolute family, like royalty. But we want to give them the opportunity to appreciate the value just as you do right now. So don't give them the opportunity the next day. And again, nothing works 100% of the time. But this is an example, though, of how you tie up these loose ends. So the button-up is essentially thinking about the different ways in which a customer can wiggle off that line, in which they can call you tomorrow with buyer's remorse or talk to somebody, have the deal get squashed, or simply get back to reason. The fairy dust dissipates. They're like, whoa, our savings account is completely drained. Make sure you address that proactively, because if I do go through this button-up process, and let's say the homeowner admits, yeah, I'm not comfortable. Wouldn't you rather address that right now face-to-face versus trying to handle that over the phone the next day?
Absolutely.
The reality of life is if the homeowner is going to cancel, they're going to cancel. It has nothing to do with whether or not you explained the notice of cancellation or did a button up. I want to make sure if they are uncomfortable, if they have any doubt in their mind as to what they're doing, I want to address that now and overcome it now proactively. It's just like handling an objection proactively. You're going to have a lot better chance of actually overcoming it and having a successful outcome doing it right here face to face. And I've had situations like that, Dan, where they admit right then and there, yeah, I'm actually not that comfortable. I'm like, thank God you told me. Rip it up. I'm not going to move forward with anything unless you're completely comfortable. I guess help me here. What would we have to do to make this completely comfortable for you? And when they see you tear up the agreement and call things off, all of a sudden, like, holy cow, this guy really does care.
Mm-hmm.
He's not just about making a commission. And you continue to build upon the trust. And this is what's so special about a properly executed sales process. Even though you're continuing to close and move through the selling process, you're continuing to build upon the trust. So trust is, I teach this to my kids all the time, is so easy to lose, but hard to gain. But once you lose it, it's gone. It's hard to get it back once it's gone, especially in sales. So trust and rapport is not something I'm looking to burn through in the closing sequence, right? With the right strategy, you continue to build upon trust. And one call closing is not about burning bridges. Even if I walk out empty-handed without a sale, you want to leave on good terms and obviously be a professional, be a class act, because that could turn into a referral for you down the road.
No doubt.
Even if it's not a good fit for that person, it could be a good fit for someone they know. You want to make sure you're always leaving on good terms if and when you have the opportunity to.
Just remember, the hardest thing about sales, I heard a Jocko Willink quote. He says, leadership is really hard. I always equate leadership and sales. They're very similar. It's really hard because it's all on you, but it's not about you.
Yeah.
So you got to keep that in mind. Focus on the prospect the whole time. You're going to have that clarity of thought. If you're coming at this process with the intention to help instead of the intention to sell, you're going to be able to do this effectively for far longer.
Yep. So I'm really happy you said that because we define a salesperson as an agent of influence. They can influence other people in the direction which they want them to go.
Mm-hmm.
I define a sales leader as an inspirational agent of influence that can navigate their team to a clearly defined destination. So we're all agents of influence, right? But again, you're doing it for them, not for you. So put the needs and desires of your prospects first, have passion. And again, to get good examples of this, of course, we have the beautiful benefit of Siro. So in this last video of the Siro Sales Academy, you're going to listen to 2 recordings. Of course, one recording is going to show you an example of how not to button up a sale, how to really mess up this step of the process. And then the next is going to be how to properly execute this. And as you put this puzzle together, again, this is a big elephant that we're preaching and teaching in the Siro Sales Academy. You got to take it a bite at a time. And of course, at Grosso University, we got numerous training videos we can share with you that dive deeper into each one of these subjects. But for the Siro Sales Academy, we wanted to give you the 30,000-foot view as to what the sales process is and let you know that through every single step, every single course, you can use Siro to dramatically accelerate the learning curve, dramatically snowball your growth and success, and don't do this all alone by yourself. Sales is a learnable skill. Being an agent of influence is teachable. And especially when you do it together as a mastermind group with your peers, the rate of speed in which you can excel and become a top 1%er in the industry is unlike anything else out there. Again, this is a gift I would have killed to have when I was a sales leader. So take full advantage of Siro. And just remember that if you're not using the benefits of Siro to its full advantage, you're probably going to be replaced by somebody that will. Step 11 of the sales process, truly what punches this thing in for the touchdown. And the goal is not just to write business, but to write solid business that is profitable and actually gets installed for those homeowners. They deserve it. Make sure every sale you turn in is as solid as possible. Keep leveraging the full power of Siro for best practices. And of course, on behalf of all of us here in the studio, Grosso University and Siro, yes, you are a closer.